Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 9th Eastchester Union Free School District Board of Education meeting. It's nice to see so many people here this evening to celebrate so many good things. So I know we have an action-packed agenda. So Dr. V, I am going to turn it over to you to run us through our agenda this evening.
All right, perfect. And I think if we go to the next slide, we're going to have a really great picture that pops up of our girls softball team. All right, here they are. Now, last meeting, we gave a little impromptu congratulations, but we want to give a huge shout out to our girls softball team. Here's that wonderful photo. We are officially, after 35 years, the first Section 1 softball title since 1991. So if I could actually call up Mr. Ramponi, the softball team, and I think the coaches might be here as well. We'd love to get a picture and maybe a few words would be great.
I'll just open up the mic to Coach Pat Gallo, who I spent a lot of time with these girls this year, and I did have to coach the JV team for the first couple of weeks, so I got to spend a lot of time with these girls this year, and they are highly competitive, but the nicest group of girls. So it's the perfect combination, and there's a reason that they're champions. They put a lot of time in and come from wonderful families. So it's been a pleasure for me to get to know this group. And Coach, would you like to say a few words? And we know you like to speak. Come on. Mr. Pat Gallo.
This is a little impromptu. I didn't think that was part of the deal. We had a fabulous year. It's been 35 years. I was in high school the last time Eastchester won a section title, so it was quite a while ago. This is an amazing group of girls. I think in girls sports you find that the more they get along, the more success you have, and this is truly a family. We have amazing parents that supported us all the way up to Mudville, New York, where we played a tournament in the mud. And we packed North Rockland for the section finals, where 2/3 of the fans were all Eastchester people. I'd like to thank the Little League. They brought their players up to support us. Obviously, our athletic director, Mike Ramponi, who was super supportive to us and helped us along the way. And the trainer, and Tara, our trainer, who was, taking care of our bumps and bruises. And our had a couple of amazing assistant coaches. Ash Graham is here, and then Danielle DeAndrea, who was part of the staff, volunteered at the time to be part of the journey. So I want to thank you guys for recognizing us, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, and we have another celebration, and this is so exciting. The end of the year, not only is it all the culminating events, but all the competitions and performances, and now our feature of the arts here in Eastchester schools. So I think Mark Dodge is somewhere in the audience. And if not, that's okay. But I think the music department, definitely somebody's here. And we have a number of students who were at the Music at the Parks at Hershey Park who won a number of great ratings. So I'm going to call up the concert band for 4th place in superior rating, the symphonic band in 1st place with a good rating. The mixed choir was 1st place with a good rating, and concert choir was 4th place. Orchestra was 2nd place. And we did an amazing showcase over at the Arts Festival down at Hershey Park. So if we have folks in the audience, please come on up, and you can come on up for a photo. And if not, then we can always catch you another time. Sometimes this happens. Like last day, we talked about softball. Nobody was here, but we got it the next week around.
We're at the orchestra concert going on right now.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain it then. Okay, so they're performing right now. Okay, well then we will make sure that we time this a little better for the next day, but we were very excited, and let's give a huge round of applause for our art students. to?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so first I'm going to kick off with my superintendent's report, which gives a little update to our upcoming revote, which is coming up on June 16th. But before I do that, I just wanted to say thank you again to our community, to all of our Board of Education members who have been in conversation with us over the last little while, thinking of ideas, just giving feedback, and just really feeling some energy around kind of rallying for our schools and different ways, creative ways to think outside of the box, to think of funding ideas, and so on and so forth. And I think tonight, well, not I think, tonight I'm going to give a little update on some of the really great news that we heard around our emergency state aid and some details around that. And I know that that could not have happened without all of the advocacy from our community, from our parents, and from our Board of Education. Our legislators heard, and there was a response, and so we're really excited about that. We don't have Senator Shelley Meir or Assemblywoman Pollen with us tonight, just because we are still working through some of the details. However, we will have them here soon enough so that we can make sure we show our gratitude. So here's just the meetings that we have so far, and time is going so quickly. You know, we're moving in 7-day sprints here. And then our revote is coming up next week, just in another 7 days. So a number of meetings have gone by. Thank you again to all of our PTAs. And interestingly enough, at our PTA meetings, I've been able to see the elections go on because it's the end of the year. So as their officers are coming off and their new officers are going up, it's wonderful to just be part of the changeover meeting, and then also to be able to give a little update. All right. So just as a big reminder, it's still happening, revote, Tuesday, June 16th from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Please tell everyone to come on out and vote. And we will once again be in the school gymnasium. So, you know, the question, and if you've been following along with us through this budget journey, this might feel redundant, but if you're just jumping in, why do I need to vote for the budget? And it's just actually a very clear and simple answer. Basically, if we don't pass the revote, which is our second time around on June 16th, at the proposed 2.35% tax levy, we're essentially going to be placed into a contingency budget. So we want to make sure that we don't land there. So please do come on out and vote. That will be very important for us. And as you know, on the ballot this year, we are not only going to have the tax levy to vote on, but we also have the transportation proposition. And so a very logical question that has been asked over the last week or so is, why is the transportation or the bus proposition actually important now and also for the future? Is it just happening because of the levy? And the answer is actually no. So there is actually no relief in sight when it comes to transportation costs for school districts. Not just for us here in Eastchester, but all school districts. Each year, our contracts do increase, and so that transportation proposition proposed at this time is actually a realistic and pragmatic way to reduce our budget year over year while still providing transportation to those who are at the adjusted mileage. If you think about it and what our drivers are this year, transportation costs have become one of the district's largest inflationary pressures. Along with, of course, health insurance, transportation represents one of the fastest growing expenses in our budget. And we are making sure that we are trying to continue to provide transportation at the current expansive level, but that would require difficult trade-offs elsewhere in the budget down the road. So even if the proposition is on this year, and let's say hypothetically it doesn't pass, it's going to come back around again in another year and a following year because that particular just cost driver is so intense. The proposed transportation model that we are suggesting that is on the ballot right now is a model that is intentionally designed to prioritize some of our youngest students and families, and you see that the mileage is, it was always lower, but it's always still lower for the K-5 students, and for those who are often most dependent on district-provided transportation. So again, all of our special education families who have IEP required transportation continue to receive that transportation even with this transportation proposition. You've seen this image, and I know it's not exactly perfect, but it's just very simple. Scenario one, if we have 2 checks in both propositions, we pass that budget and we move forward. We mitigate some of the reductions that we have to have in our personnel, and we have that proposition that moves through. In scenario 2, if we pass that budget, that's the key part of it, but we don't pass the bus, then we continue to move forward with the reductions that we've already notified people of. But both of these scenarios help us pass the budget, so that is important. This is the scenario we don't want. It's the worst case scenario, and that's if we don't pass that budget, then we've got a real problem. It doesn't actually, the two X's don't even really matter. It's that first X in the Proposition 1 that really puts us in rough shape. Okay, so last week, if you joined the virtual webinar, I talked a little bit about a transportation widget. That transportation widget is going to go live tonight. Hopefully, it will go live perhaps just after our meeting. And for families who are wondering if they're eligible, they can put their address into that line there. You press check eligibility, and it should show you whether or not you are eligible to the schools in which your children attend. There's no identifiable markers in terms of names or grade levels or anything of that course, of course. However, it should tell you whether you're eligible or not. If by chance you do not get a response that tells you whether you're eligible or not, you can certainly contact the transportation office. And again, if you are a family who receives special education transport due to an IEP, that does not change either way. Also, do know that this is based on obviously a machine and a computer and software that has given us what the mileage is. We also know that there is a humanistic part to how transportation works. So on top of this as well, I just want to share, if the proposition goes through and you are a household who's on the cusp or you are very close to a transportation marker and you're not eligible, but you are really in need of it, we are going to be creating an appeal process for families. And that appeal process is not completely fleshed out just at this moment, but the point is that a machine can tell us if the line marker is right here for a distance. However, if I have two houses right next to each other and I don't have a full bus moving, the human side of us can make an adjustment through an appeal process to allow an exception to be made, as long as we can make the exception, so that if the bus is already there, we can transport that child. So do know that we will have that appeal process available to families, but at least the transportation checker for now will let you know if you're eligible before we go to vote next Tuesday. Okay, so in the last 7 days, we heard some big news that we were really eligible and going to be getting some one-time emergency state funds. And that was from our Senator Shelley Mayer's office and our Assemblywoman Amy Pollin's office. A couple of things I just want to clarify. One, first of all, such gratitude to our legislators for earmarking this for us. They are still moving through the process, as are we, to even secure just exactly how this is going to come forward. But big gratitude to them. I do want to clarify that is a one-time emergency state fund allotment. So that means they're given to us once. They don't come year over year. And so it's really important that we don't accidentally create a financial cliff. And what a financial cliff means is that we suddenly get an infusion of monies or funds, and then we spend them on things that are year over year costs, and then as soon as that grant runs out, you can no longer pay for those things that are year over year. So we have to be very careful about what the core reason of how we're going to use these funds is. And now you can see in the middle there in the blue, we are dedicated to reviving our programs and personnel as best as possible. I think we know that a school district is about the people and it's about the programs that we provide for our families, and so that is very much our priority. So you're hearing the number 2 million. I want you to know that it is not a $2 million bag of money being handed to me, nor a $2 million check that's going to be cut to us in one shot. That is just not how it's coming. So it's actually coming in $500,000 from Senator Shelley Mayer's office, which will be used as operational funds, and that has more flexibility around it, and I'm getting more information about it. And then the other $500,000 from Shelley Mayer's office, from the Senator's office, is specific to a category called capital components. Assemblywoman Amy Pollin's $1 million allotment is all under the category of capital components. So to make it easy, the cut is $1.5 million is very specific to capital components, and $500,000 is specific to operational costs, which just has a little bit more flexibility around it. And again, All of the 2 million is one-time emergency funds. And again, we're still moving through the process, so it's not completely done on paper as of yet, but we are fairly certain that it is earmarked and going to be allotted to us. So the tricky part about capital components, which is a larger allotment of this emergency state aid, is that it can't be used towards operating costs like personnel salaries or transportation, things of that nature. However, the $500,000 from Senator Shelley Mayer's office does have that opportunity to be used towards personnel salaries and transportation costs. Here is the process for which we get access to the $1.5 million. And I'm sharing it this way because I want everybody to know that it's going to take probably the entire year for us to be able to actually reap the benefits of the generous aid that we are receiving. So step one, we are in step one right now. We are in the midst of submitting an application to both the mayor's, Senator Mayer's office and Assemblywoman Pollin's office for them to review. Once they review that, they have to then prepare a nomination for Majority Leader and the Senate Finance Office, which then they will send that nomination up and they have to review that. Once that is reviewed and approved from their level, the Senate Finance Office and the Majority Leader then sends it to another group called DASNY, which is the Dormitory Authority. They then review that application, and then they kick us a second application where we then have to go in deeper and give more comprehensive information on what we're applying for. After that is approved, that's the second round of the application, then it gets sent to the Division of the Budget up at the Governor's office there, and they will do another additional review of that comprehensive application. And then once they give their approval, then it goes to another division where they create the grant disbursement agreement. Once that grant disbursement agreement is created, then we come into officially having paperwork that says this is what you're going to be approved for spending the $1.5 million in emergency state aid. And then as we complete portions of what we say we were going to do, we then basically put in receipts and we get reimbursed chunk by chunk by chunk by chunk. So it was a little crude in how I explained that. That is truly the stepwise fashion of which the $1.5 million in emergency aid is allotted to our school district and dispersed. So I know right now it's really exciting to hear the number 2 million, and oh my goodness, 2 million, we can put it all towards personnel. The answer is we can't, because you can see that the process is very, very, very intense. Or, oh, we have $2 million, we could put it all towards transportation. That's not quite how it functions. At the same time, we do think that that $1.5 million in capital emergency aid will help us offset pieces where we can then carefully maintain the core financial stability we're trying to achieve, make sure we don't create a financial cliff, and then help offset some of the important programmatic pieces as we move forward this year. And that's why this gift is so helpful to us. But again, it has a lot of steps for us to move through in order for us to reap the benefits of it. And you can count on us that we will follow all those steps and that we will do the detailed work and try not to leave anything on the table, because it is a gift. So again, if the question that your neighbor is asking you is, do I still have to vote since you got $2 million in emergency funding? The answer is yes. It's still really important that our community comes out to vote next Tuesday, so please, if people are saying, well, they got emergency funding, I don't have to come out, the answer is yes, you still need to come out if you can, because we don't want to be put into that contingency space. There were some questions around that before and after school care, and I just wanted to give another update. We had a wonderful conversation with our current providers right at school who provide support in the beginning and the end of the day at Waverly, Greenville, and Ann Hutch. They are looking to work with us in every way possible, so whether it's increasing the maximum number of students that actually can go to the program. We have very good enrollment right now. We are upwards of 60 to 90 students who attend these programs in the morning and the afternoon at any of the 3 schools. And so they can continue to take on students. We just have to go through processes to make sure we're approved. And in addition to that, we're talking about extending the hours as well. Currently, we start at 7 a.m. and we go to the start of school, and then we go from the end of school till 6:30 p.m. but there are times when they have started at 6:30 a.m., moving to the start of school, and going right up to 7 p.m. dinner time. So if there are ways that we can extend depending on what the usage or what the demand is by our families, if the proposition passes, Right at School has been very open to all those adjustments. In addition, some families were asking about subsidies. I do think there will be some ways where we can give scholarships to families who may have some financial need, where we might be able to help subsidize some of the costs there. So conversations continue to move forward, and they're very productive and very positive. That is good. Again, I think today, many of you probably received this in your mailbox, but basically the budget mailer is now out. Today was the deadline to get them into those mailboxes, and I verified that somebody got it in their mailbox today, so that's good. If you haven't received yours yet, it's either in your mailbox now or it's coming this week. And again, just to give notice of our adjusted 2.35% tax levy budget. And again, I know I show this slide every single time, but it's what we're working for. It's what we're trying to get our students through as they have this academic journey with us. And so very important, and just keep the eye on the prize, and this is the priority. So again, budget questions, thank you for those of you who continue to send in your questions. Even if you've not received a response yet, please know that your email has been read, and we are taking all of that feedback, and eventually you will get a response back. And you can email any of these addresses. And now we are actually going to move right into a facilities update. But before I do that, are there any questions from the board?
I think we're good, Dr. B. Thank you.
All right, great. Okay, so then I would like to, in our second last meeting of the academic year, invite Mr. Elliot Sheldon, our Director of Facilities, and our representatives from BBS to come on up and talk a little bit about our special bond, where we've been and where we're headed. We're moving into the last phase.
Is the presentation attached up here? Is it somewhere else? Let me start by introducing everyone tonight. So tonight we're going to give an update on the 2022 capital project. We are now entering phase 5. We have partnered with BBS for phase 5 on the project. So tonight you're going to hear from Paul Tazi from the Aris Contracting Company, who is our construction manager, and John from BBS to give us an update of where we're going this summer. Phase 5 is actually broken out into multiple kind of steps, as we'll see in a few minutes. But first I'll let Paul take it over, and then we will open it up for questions if there's any at the end.
Thanks, go ahead. I'm going to give you the past on where we came from. So the bond was voted on, which pretty much everybody knows, but in 2022. And we started working on the fields. And the phase 1 was the high school fields and the parking lot work, of which we did some stormwater improvements, baseball and softball improvements, and parking and pavement improvements. And that was completed in 2023. The phase 2 of the project happened right after that, which was the safety and security phase of this bond. So we were doing on all the schools, we worked on every school, security entrance vestibules, video surveillance, access controls, exterior doors, interior doors. That's when you got your door locking system, the classroom door hardware, exterior lighting, those type of items, and they were completed in 2024. Well, I have pictures, but they're not, okay.
Yeah, let me see.
Oh, I'm
Let's
sorry.
try to get it. What was that? Is there a slideshow?
Yeah, it should be over here. That one right there.
Right here?
Nope, next one.
There you are.
Okay, so moving through, like I said, phase one was it was the high school fields and the parking lot. The phase two, safety and security, we went through the description of what that was. Exterior, interior doors, you can see some of the doors that we photographed as we were going along. The interior doors were also done. Your access control hardware on the classroom doors. Phase three was the high school and middle school. It was the health and wellness and infrastructure. The main portion of this bond was in here. We were replacing doors and hardware through the first couple of phases as we were going through. But then we started moving into all the mechanical systems. So in all the schools, we are upgrading every mechanical system throughout the district. So all new, we had abatement. We had, wait a second. All right, so we had abatement in the high school and middle school because part of the bond was basically removing the asbestos as much as we can get to out of the buildings, all your buildings. So there was a large abatement in the high school and middle school, and there's been a large abatement every year since then. We did a steam to hot water conversion. That's what I was saying. We redid your mechanical systems. Unit ventilators with integral cooling. We put new chillers on the roof to put air conditioning into the buildings. Replaced domestic water piping, and then we did some abatement in phase three for Ann Hutch, because what we needed to do is there was so much asbestos, all the ceilings were hot. So we needed to basically get ahead of it to be able to move the mechanical systems in. So we sequenced that to do the Ann Hutch abatement during the phase three segment and put in new ceilings and lighting, and then did the ventilation the following year. So that project is also completed. And here's some of the, just photos of that area. Here's your new boilers and steam system, hot water system. Then we went on to phase four. Phase four was last year. And that didn't make it.
Maybe he changes it here.
Well, I'll roll through what we, phase four was, thanks. Phase four was mainly the high school renovation of the toilet rooms. Again, there was an abatement process during it. And then we moved into Ann Hutch, which we had to complete the abatement that we started the year before. And then again, like the rest of the buildings, this is when we replaced the whole heating and cooling system. We also had a new electrical upgrade. We had to replace the service coming in. And then we completed the project with the auditorium renovations. That project has also been completed. It's in closeout now. So we have minor items that we're working on to finish it up. But we've been going through the process right along the way, and we're now in phase five, which is the last phase of this project. And the phase five is going to start out with abatement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to John Prentice so we can go through how we sequence. We sequence the project so we can set the project up in Waverly and Greenville for next year, doing the same thing as we did in Ann Hutch. And then we have some work at the middle school, but I'll let John take that over.
Good evening. Oh, so it's gonna, all right, it changes there and we're not here. Okay, so I have the pleasure of giving you a glimpse into the future. Phase 5, as Paul said, well, by the way, let me start by saying thank you for having me. That's the first board meeting that BBS is attending after coming on board approximately about a year ago. We've been working pretty closely with ARIS as well as the district in trying to get Phase 5 underway, and as Paul alluded to, we've done a couple of different things to set it up for success. So Phase 5, we broke into 3 different phases. We have Phase 5A, which is primarily Waverly. We sent that up to the state with the middle school, but then we broke middle school out, and I'll explain why in a minute. And then we currently are up at the state with Greenvale and Ann Hutch, the work that is slated for there. Going in reverse order, forgive me, I gotta put my glasses on at this point. Going in reverse order, 5C is what we're actually looking to do this summer. It's the setup for some of the work that will happen next summer, the summer of 2027. Greenvale scope of work, we're looking to do the demo of the old boiler, the existing old boiler, and then do some abatement in terms of setting up for the mechanical systems that have to come in at a later date, part of what's going to be Phase 5A and 5B. Waverly, we're doing the same scope of work, and then at the middle school, we're actually tackling a number of toilet rooms for renovations as well as the locker room renovation. All that will happen this summer in terms of construction in preparation, some of that for the summer of '27. So 5C, this is just a glimpse of what we're talking about. That is your existing girls' locker room on the left and boys' locker room on the right. There's some photos of both on the bottom of the existing conditions, and these then become the proposed. So the girls' locker room is on the left again. That gets broken down. The locker room was rather large, so what we were able to do is reduce it, creating a team locker room in the upper left-hand side, restrooms on the upper right-hand side, still maintaining the coach's office, and then giving you your gym class lockers for in the lower left. What that allowed us to do by putting up a wall there is then create a studio. It's a multi-purpose space, a space where it could be used, and that's just an image underneath on the bottom left of a studio, dance studio, or any type of after-school activity can be held in there, really, that's dealing with athletics. 5C also will include then the boys' side, which is the same thing. It's a repositioning of the entire locker room. Currently, there are some showers in both lockers that are not being used, and I believe the restroom portion in the existing is relatively small. So now this gives you a rather larger restroom area. It gives you another distinct, defined team locker room area in the upper left-hand side, and then the remaining locker spaces are for your daily use. That's the weight room on the right-hand side. The boys will notice that there is no longer a direct entrance into there, so that now you would go into the weight room from the gym. Phase 5B, as we were talking about, that's going to be Greenvale. Greenvale, there's a curtain wall replacement. There's some rooftop units being replaced. That's your HVAC, heating and cooling systems throughout the entire building are being replaced. Toilet rooms are going to be replaced. But all this is now up at the state here and will be bid the latter part of the year in the fall for work to be done in the summer of 2027. Well, just so you know, too, on the bottom there's electrical service. That's rather large. That's a whole new upgrade of your switchgear for the building, as well as a new chiller, I believe, is being installed at Greenvale. Going back to Waverly now, 5A, like I said, we did a little bit in reverse order, but it's a similar scope of work. There's HVAC equipment that's being replaced, toilets that are being renovated. There's some site improvements in terms of handicap, parking spaces, electrical panels that are going to be replaced, and the conversion of the boilers there to a hot water system. We're also installing a backflow preventer. That's your water supply coming into the building. All that scope of work, once again, happens. We bid it in the fall, but the scope of work will actually start in the summer of 2027. And that's pretty much it. So, any questions?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. I know that you mentioned it's been a year since you've been here to present, and I know you've been working very carefully with Mr. Sheldon, but it's very exciting that we're moving into the last phase of the bond projects, and I think thus far, we're excited that the bids were good. So, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
right, and the last item for this evening is something that happens annually for our school district, and the district is now presenting and publishing a 30-day public comment period notice on the 26-27 district-wide safety plan. So it can be found on the district's website. So basically, for 30 days, the updated safety plan is on the website. You are welcome to go take a peek at it, and then at our next meeting in July, the board will take a motion to accept our district-wide safety plan. I'd like to give a thank you to Mr. John Kugler, our safety coordinator, and his company for making sure that our plan is in good shape, and he will present the next time on July, at our July meeting when you take the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. B. Any comments or questions from any of my fellow trustees before we proceed with the agenda this evening? Okay. We're now up to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda? Jackie?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, which includes the following: 6, business office recommendations; 7, educational and curriculum and instruction; 8, other business.
Thank you, Jackie. Do I have a second? Lori? All in favor? Thank you. Future meeting dates, June 16th will be a regular meeting and a budget revote. Now we are up to comments from the public. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address, and just keep in mind it's 3 minutes per person. And just as a reminder, it's not a Q&A or a back and forth for this portion of the agenda. Thank you.
Hey, good evening. My name's John Larkin, 7 Arlington Road. I'm also a 2005 alumnus of Eastchester High School. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of one of the teachers who's in danger of being, his position in danger of being cut from the budget, Michael Goldstein, who teaches TV and film production here, as well as public speaking. I first knew Mike when I was a sophomore in high school, and he was the main influence in my young life. I discovered my passion for filmmaking, TV production, pursued a career in that, which I'm grateful to have today. And the incredible thing is that continued after graduating. And for the last 20 years, there have been people just like me with the same story. And when I heard that what was happening, I was really devastated. And I reached out to as many alumni as I could to let them know. And it's been an incredible thing. We have reached out to the board, superintendent. And so I want to thank you because we've received your responses, and we're glad that you've acknowledged us. And I just hope that you take our words to heart. It's almost hard to put into words what Mike means to the school. His legacy is truly astounding. And I actually worked here after I graduated, so I saw him work with the new generation, and I saw him up close shape so many people in their lives. I mean, it's exactly the kind of thing you want a teacher to do. He goes above and beyond. What he offers is not something you could just see on a line item on a sheet, on a budget sheet. I felt it was important to come out tonight to just reiterate that. And I think you'll be hearing from some other alumnus as well who have stories just like mine. But anyway, thank you for consideration, and thank you.
Thank you.
How's it going, guys? Patrick McDevitt, 44 Highview Avenue in Eastchester. Just like John Larkin, I have, actually I used to film this board meeting back in 2009. I never thought I'd be talking here, so it's a bit crazy, but I took the film class here when I attended EHS, and I had a whole career, still do, in film. I went on to open a film studio in Manhattan. It's a 2-story film studio where we've done L'Oreal, Nike, Maybelline, a lot of fashion companies, a lot of pop stars. And these are things that I thought were impossible at one time. And now, as time goes on, we're seeing that more and more alumni are doing amazing things. And I actually have a list here of a few of those people. John Sakata, so these are all alumni of EHS. John Sakata is the lead writer at WWE. Anthony Corella travels the world as a cinematographer, doing multi-million-dollar commercials. Greg Rocco, he's an award-winning independent filmmaker, senior coordinator at HBO. John Larkin, actually here, he's an award-nominated documentarian. Kevin Murphy, I mean, this guy wanted to be here. He even sent a photo. He's on set right now. He's doing major motion pictures. He's a stunt coordinator. You guys have likely seen stuff that he's in. Matt Parlapiano, he's won 3 Emmys working at CBS. Alex Watson, he's in The Union as a cinematographer, lighting technician. So is Mike Masterserio. Billy Quigley owns a lighting company. These are people that left EHS and have gone on to have families and buy homes and have full careers because of the film department here. And I was devastated to hear that it might be cut. So it's just a few of my words. And as John Larkin said, thank you for responding to our emails. It is really much appreciated, and we do hope to take it to heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, just very quickly, how are you doing with the?
We're good. So yeah, I manually
Okay.
have the timer. So when it goes over, I'll let everybody
Okay.
know to
All
wrap
right,
it up.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else for public comment?
Joe, can you help me? Good evening, board members and fellow people of Eastchester. My name is Emil Zakowski. I live at 58 Lincoln Avenue.
My name is Julian Storch, and I live on Garth Road.
And tonight we're here to talk to you about the incredible film program that Eastchester High School has to offer. As 2 current students in this program, we spent the last 2 years learning skills such as editing, sound design, storyboarding, and screenplay writing, just to name a few. This year, I always look forward to my Tuesdays and Thursdays because it means I get to have film class with 2 great friends of mine, 1 and 2, right there. We get to watch past film fests, discuss modern movies, and look for techniques to apply to our own filmmaking experiences. Additionally, each of us has sort of figured out areas in film which we excel at. For me, it's screenwriting.
For me, it's directing.
As a team, we have each grown and flourished so much in this program, not only as filmmakers, but as people as well. The other great thing about this program is the Film Fest, which is a culmination of student work at the end of the year. My friends always say that the second half of the year is their favorite because of the amazing events that Eastchester High School has to offer, like Rock Against Cancer, the Players Club's 24-hour musical, and most especially, the Film Fest. Film Fest is like no other event at Eastchester High School because it brings together people of all different areas, and only in Film Fest does this happen. You have the theater kids and football players all coming together to watch these incredible movies that your students made. By continuing to keep the program alive, you are letting an incredible Eastchester community grow even more. So I implore you to take a second and think about the students, the young filmmakers getting a chance to showcase their talents within this program, and think about what you'll be doing to them if you erase the program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Rocco. I have no comments prepared, but I just felt implored to say something. I was a film student for Mike Goldstein from 2006 to 2009, so that's 17 years ago. And I could remember being the exact position that those students were in and the passion that they had for this program. And it's more than just an art program or something that it's kind of just, you could just write off. It's a family that was kind of built single-handedly, practically, by Mike Goldstein and along with some other educators. But I just, again, I want to reiterate how important that this program is to generations of students from EHS. And please just reconsider getting rid of the program. Thank you.
Just a friendly reminder, and thank you for everyone who has public comment this evening. We do just ask that we keep personnel names who are active employees just confidential. So please, we are open to all remarks, but if you would mind just keeping personnel names out, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll do my best to not mention anyone's name, but my name's Justin Gerber. I was a student here that graduated in 2021, and my address is 123 Bell Road. When I was a student here at East Chester, I was quite a quiet person. I didn't open up to many friends or family very much. However, when I came to school, the one place I felt free to talk openly was in my film classes. For some reason, being in film class wasn't just a regular class. It was so much more for me. It was a place where I found comfort, and a place where I felt like I didn't belong. Because of these film classes, I found a method of coping with my depression through my years in high school. I found therapy, not only in filmmaking, but around the students and teachers whilst talking about film. Something that I really appreciate about East Chester schools while I was here was the copious amounts of courses that help students understand the real world. As someone who had a hard time working with others, like I said, I struggled with opening up and talking to anyone. My teacher who led film class here has taught us that in life you're going to have to work and collaborate with other people, whether you like it or not. It won't always be about you, but working with a team to get things done. In film, it is nearly impossible to work alone to finish a project. But because of my teacher, we all learned so many life lessons through his film classes. I just really hope that you guys hear me and hear everyone here who have had our lives changed by our film classes here. And it's really meant a lot to us all. And I really hope you guys can all reconsider that. Thank you very much.
Thank
Hello. Well, I'll start with saying I was not a part of the public speaking part that was offered here. But I was a part of the film program, and...
If you could just quickly name and address.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Anthony Corella. I was a student here, 2012 is when I graduated. And, you know, I'm here today with all the other alumni behind me, because this program means more than just an elective. It's, you know, I actually work professionally now as a cinematographer. I film commercials all over the world, and I'm here to tell you that it was directly because of the school and because of the teacher that is providing the course. The students here, when they do the film festival every year, which I heard was just a couple of weeks ago, it's a big deal. You know, when I was a student, freshman year, I saw those films and I was blown away. Could not believe that students could make this kind of stuff. And I thought, I gotta do that. So signed up for the class. Wasn't so easy to get into. And when I got in via the waiting list, I was able to do it for the next 2 to 3 years, you know, and it literally has created a career for me today. So I just want to say that it really is more than an elective. It's a thriving industry with a lot of jobs, and you don't have to be the director or the lead creative. It's more than that. So that's all I have to say, but thank you.
Thank you.
Evening. My name is Sami Malik, 51 Maple Avenue. I graduated in 2009. Now, my career didn't wind up in film, but what this class did teach me was to I look at details differently when I present. I work in healthcare professionally. I'm a sales rep. The class just taught me how to look at everything differently and feel confident when I am presenting in front of people. That's not a trait I had at all when I was in high school. Almost everyone in the back can tell you I was a very shy, quiet kid. This class did teach me how to really show up and look at everything a little different. So it's important that it stays here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isabella. I live at 11 Wendover Road. My name's Sam. I live in California Road.
My name is Alex, and I live on Lawrence Ave.
We are students here at Eastchester High School and are part of the EHS Film and Video Production Program. Through this program, the three of us have been given the opportunity to work here at these board meetings. Without our film teacher and the film program in general, would have never been given this great learning experience that we can take and apply to our lives outside of school. I have been taking film and video for 2 years now, and I can honestly say it has allowed me to pursue passions in this field as well as improve my skills, whether it's learning technical skills like editing and sound mixing or even just teamwork.
So like when I first came to high school, I was like very anxious and I had a really hard time making friends. And so I joined like film and video production, and throughout that class, I was able to make so many new people, and they helped me step out of my comfort zone. And just like through working in these board meetings, I've like gained so much technical experience for skills that I can apply to other jobs that I will get in the future. And I just think that's like a really positive thing for film and video production.
I'm a part of the Film and Production Club, and with this club I progressed in my passion for making films, which has made me realize my strength in this field. Without our advisor, I would not have this experience working while having to learn at the same time. Overall, our film and video production teacher in the film program has been a crucial part for helping us develop our skill set, as well as give us real-world working experience that will stay with us for years to come.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stella Bowman. Surprise, I'm part of the film department, and that's what I'm going to be speaking about. I reside on Highland Avenue, and I came to the board meeting last week to talk about the film department. And today I'm going to talk more, but this time I'm going to be bringing in a lot of alumni that I've recently gotten accounts from and firsthand, just visions of what the program has become for them. So I think it's really meaningful to see these things. So to start, a 2014 alum told me about how our film teacher helped foster his creativity and love for filmmaking. Then goes on to say, the course advanced my technical skills in video editing, camera operation, and 3D graphics. This alum proceeded to have many jobs in film and video production, following his academic journey. A quote from this student that truly jumped out at me was this: "To this day, I still use these video skills, operating high-speed imaging cameras and video editing test footage for component qualification tests as a mechanical engineer at GE Aerospace." Alum also says, in the working world, it is essential to be able to effectively communicate and convince peers and colleagues, skills which come back to the lessons from the EHS film program and our film teacher. A 2016 alum talks about their current employment at CBS on the Drew Barrymore Show. They say their job would not be possible without our film teacher, and that same graduate states, Eastchester High School losing the film teacher and his production courses would be a huge loss to the community, but more importantly, a huge loss to many kids' futures. Now a 2021 alum tells me how impactful the program was and how the film teacher would encourage his students' most ambitious ideas. This alum goes on to say, "Through his classes, I pushed myself further than ever expected, and I can say for certain that I'm not only a better filmmaker, but also a better person because of him. Our film teacher consistently goes above and beyond the expectations of a high school teacher, and his students take the example he sets into their post-graduation careers." This alum now works as a freelance cinematographer of narrative and documentary films, positions he said he would not have today if the film program was not there for him. Finally, an EHS graduate from just 2025 last year says he majored this year in filmmaking at Mason Groves School of the Arts at Rutgers University. He used his short film he made at the EHS Film Festival for his portfolio. Some final input from me on this is that we're so fortunate to be a school that has these programs in the arts. It truly is what makes the high school and district so special. Without teaching arts such as filmmaking, we're essentially cutting off one of the largest parts about why Eastchester schools are so notable. With all these accounts, I do truly hope you reconsider cutting the film teacher along with his film and video department. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Larry. I live on Nelson Road. I'm not part of the film AV, but those were very, I was in the AV club in high school, so, I do passionately feel what they were saying. But in general, I come to you as a parent tonight. And obviously, as parents, we feel pretty, devastated. You want the best for your kids. You want them to have all the opportunities, and a lot of students here, I'm very proud of you coming here and speaking on this. In general, when you look at it, we're looking at a budget deficit, if scenario 2 kind of, works its way through, about $1.8 million. And we're a pretty affluent community. When you look at 3,000 students here, we're talking about $600 a kid, right? And we're talking about, when I put my kids in kind of travel ball, it's like $4,000. So the value for all these things is $600. It's a lot. And we shouldn't be waiting on like politicians to make sure our kids get what we actually want. We could do this as a community. And I'm asking if, I'm willing to go through and say, this is worth a lot more for me. I'm willing to, if there's a, nonprofit through the PTA or through some foundation, we can raise this money. We can save all of these things. $600 to me, this is worth $3,000. And for where I work, they would match that for another $3,000. Now, I understand others may not be able to afford the same amount, but they can afford something. And it would help a lot of the parents to be able to actually have that opportunity to say, look, maybe this didn't pass at 6%, but I don't think that's the community's real response to the students here. There's 10,000 homes. There was less than 15% voter turnout, and it barely missed. I don't think that's really what the community actually wants for this. So I think, I don't know if you can't answer my questions, but if we can raise this, we could save a lot of these things. I mean, for athletics, it's $38 a kid. Arts, $89 a kid. Personnel reductions, $116 a kid. I think if we go to the families and say, look, is this really worth $600 to you? What's it really worth? You would get thousands of dollars, I think, per family on these things. And those that can't, there's obviously other ways that we can get through making this budget up. And if we could pull together and actually do this, that's a very better story to tell than, hey, our budget missed because of 1,500 voters. And we can write to the teachers, to everyone that's part of this, to say that we actually do care about you. We do love our kids. And this is a way to show it. So I don't think it's any finger pointing or anyone's fault. I just think it's one vote for one menu of 6%, which I think this community has a lot more to offer and wants for their kids. And so I'll be in the back if anybody wants to sign up with me. And if we can do this, we could do this, every year. If we can raise this, we can raise this every year and create programs for kids to do some incredible things. Not just some of the AV stuff was pretty incredible that I just heard, but we could do a lot of other things. We can move the rankings up for our school district. We can send our kids to different places to have different experiences. These are some really good experiences that I just heard for AV Club. That was pretty new. So, you know, if you're willing to join me, I'm willing to kind of like put in the time as well, and we can raise this money and save a lot of these programs and don't have to wait for Albany and have an answer for kind of how much we love our kids. So
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ferris DeMiro, and I live in Eastchester. And I would like to say that film is so important, not just because of Film Fest that we put on every year, but also because of Fall Comedy Night. I have been a part of Fall Comedy Night for the past 4 years, and my brother, when he was here, he graduated in 2022, was also a part of Fall Comedy Night for 20 years. Growing up, me and my brother weren't very loud. We were always, quiet and kept to ourselves because we were just shy kids. But as we got to high school, through film club and the fall comedy event, both me and my brother were able to find our voices and speak in public and make jokes and be loud and be funny and find community through this part of film club. And I wouldn't have been able to find the voice that I have now to come to speak to you today without fall comedy. And my brother wouldn't have had the voice that he has right now, where he goes out and speaks to homeless people and speaks to so many other groups and helps them and aids them with homelessness and everything else. We wouldn't have our voices if it wasn't for if it wasn't for film and if it wasn't for Fall Comedy Night. This is so important to me because it taught me that my voice matters, that what I have to say matters, even if other people don't tell me that it does. And without Comedy Night, I don't think I would have found the voice that I have today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Hardelano. I'm an EHS alumni from 2014, grew up on Hickory Hill Road, and I want to say how much the film director, teacher had profoundly impacted the course of my life, and I cannot thank him enough on behalf of myself, his current students, and all of the alumni. His guidance, teaching, and support really helped me learn all about filmmaking and all helped me foster my creativity. I'm that alumni. All the skills that I learned from the film program helped me to work in AV at the Pelham Picture House, work for university events at Columbia University, and work with fellow alumni Andrea DeLuca at International House, and I still use a lot of those technical skills as a mechanical engineer, filming with high-speed cameras for plume projection in combustion engines for next generation aircraft engines and more. And beyond technical expertise, the film director has helped me and my fellow students to learn what it means to tell a good story. Every video, report, presentation, design review, and even job interview requires a compelling and coherent flow of ideas. In the working world, it is essential to be able to effectively communicate and convince peers and colleagues, skills of which come back to all the lessons that I learned from the film program. If we want to continue to champion the creativity, video expertise, and communication skills of the next generation, I sincerely urge the Eastchester School District to continue supporting the EHS film program. And lastly, I once again want to wholeheartedly thank that film teacher for all he has done for myself, his current students, and my fellow alumni. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I am the proud father of Mark Cardellano. I'm Robert Cardellano, 40 Hickory Hill Road. I want to thank you for your efforts, especially working with Assembly Member Paulin and Senator Mayer to work through receiving those state funds. I know how difficult it is to receive funds, especially with a short time period, but I think it was something that is very difficult, but we appreciate your efforts. I just want to say that, I can't say anything more that the current and former students have said about the film program and how much we have appreciated. All 5 of our children were either behind the camera, as Mark was, or in front of the camera acting, and he was loving to direct his friends as well as his siblings in those programs. And how important it did give many people a voice who didn't have a voice, and how those programs really have profoundly affected them in their lives and in their careers. I also want to give a shout out to the musical theater program and the theater production program that is so important as well. These programs not only bring people together, but they also bring people together across the grades and across different areas of expertise and understandings and how they work with each other. And I'll just want to put a final plug in to the community at large. If you believe that everything they're saying is true and important, we need to support Proposition 1 and Proposition 2. As difficult as it is this year to say yes to Proposition 1 and Proposition 2 so that we can keep as many of these programs afloat as possible while the board and the superintendent work towards getting a more sustainable approach in future years. So again, thank you very much to the board and to the superintendent, Dr. Villanueva. Please support Proposition 1 and Proposition 2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Valentine Quintero. I live on Howard Avenue in Eastchester, and I'm a recent graduate of the Eastchester High School in 2024. Adding on to what people have been saying about the film program, I recently became aware of the budget, the revote happening next week. I just came back from college, and I think to what everyone has been saying, finding the film program, taking the one class I did in high school, had helped me enter a fellowship I did during my course of my junior year in high school, which then helped me build a portfolio that I am now studying film at a conservatory at Purchase. This year we do documentary filmmaking, and it is because of the teacher that allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and doing something that only a certain group of people that I think understand what it is to be in the back of that room that we are in here. We have classes in the library classroom right in the back, possibly still now, I'm not sure. And people who have been in that classroom understand that the community you build there is something that, as we've seen, can last beyond just years of people doing work in film or going beyond film. It helps you build yourself up and finding a voice for yourself. And I think if people can consider that when they're thinking about voting for next week, it would be very appreciated. So thank you. Keeping it short.
Thank you.
Hi, Laura Broder, 15 Leslie Road. I almost just forgot my address. No association with the film industry. I just want to remind everyone, if your legal address and residence is still in Eastchester and you're over the age of 18, you can vote. So please do be sure you're registered to vote. I believe you can still register up until tomorrow. And so if your registration, even if you're in college, or even if you lived in the city but you never changed your driver's license, you can probably still vote here. So please consider doing that, because that is actually the only thing that will matter. Thanks.
Anyone else this evening for public comment? Yes, please.
I just want to reiterate, even though I know the board has said this many times, that we really value the civic engagement of the community. And I want to thank everyone for the very respectful and eloquent and articulate comments tonight, and for your continued emails and all the remarks, and just appreciate all of the engagement from the community, whether you're a student, past student, parent. So I just want to thank you all for your involvement.
Thanks, Jackie. If there's no other public comment this evening, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for tonight. Do I have a motion? Sean, do I have a second? Christine, all in favor? Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.